Welcome to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex and today we're taking a look at Cat Cafe Manager on the Nintendo Switch. Now no doubt a game many are looking forward to, but sadly I'm going to put this up front here, it probably should have been called Broken Cafe Simulator instead. So yeah, let's just jump into it though today, so hit subscribe, join us here on SwitchCorner for reviews and deals near daily, and let's get started. So this one first off indeed packs a story mode. While there's not a huge amount to it, you move to a cat-centric home where your nan previously ran the title Cat Cafe. It's long forgotten and in fact non-existent at this point. Your aim though to rebuild this legacy surrounded by a group of, let's say, 5 friends who reflect the 5 different types of customers in-game. Alongside this story then, a cat shrine that was once a welcoming place is in disarray. Your next job, rebuild that too. This though, it's essentially just a skill tree of unlockables. It's innocent enough as stories go and fine, and there's even a minor twist towards the end. Gameplay then, and I do actually want to be quick with the good, as sad as that is, because I have a long list to take you through of just issues that I faced. The gameplay loop though is simple. Build a cafe location, decorate, and then of course serve the visitors. The controls are simple: movement and ability to interact, whether that's taking an order, cleaning or cooking, that is all single button, and that is to a timed prompt on screen. For the genre then, the serving of customers, it actually gets quite manic towards the end for the genre, which I did not expect, and honestly I actually had some fun in these moments for a short while. As you progress then you'll earn affection from the locals, and in turn this will unlock something new at the shrine. Like I said, that is a skill tree that you choose your target from. Think here, new decorations, furniture, food items or cat items, litter trays, toys and so on. You can also then zoom the camera in and out with the right stick, and the game's actually built over 3 areas. You have the cafe, the world map, which is simply individual select shops, and then the shrine skill tree. The shops, we have a food market, a cat store and a furniture store. When you unlock, let's say, new furniture from the shrine though, it's not automatically yours, you'll need to still buy it from the correct store. Each store takes a different currency though, so I think the cat store is fish, the furniture is gems. Each class, shall we call them, pays in a different way, so I found it was best to actually focus on one customer type at a time, dependent on the income type I needed and what my personal goal was. You'll do this then from a menu attached to the left trigger. It's called marketing, and alongside that then you can manage staff. You can have a maximum of 4 staff members. You can also level them up, so I think their service speed and cleaning, and you can do the same thing for your cats. You can also then call once a shift to one of your friends from the phone box out the front and invite them in for the day. This will level up your relationship, maxing out at level 5, and this is associated to unlocking more of the skill tree. So far though, honestly, look, it's a little limited in its gameplay scope, but I can still see the appeal. It's not got the depth of, say, a Littlewood that I loved, but I do get kind of the attraction to this sort of experience. It's also, again though, a little more manic than most in what I would consider the chill genre. Let's look at the negatives though, and yeah, it's going to be a long list. In fact, I'll be somewhat quick firing these as to not make a 20-minute video today. I also want to note, you play for maybe a few hours, you probably won't see any issues, it will seem mostly fine. I sunk in around 12.5 hours from my save file. I hit the end screen of the game and even that has issues. Basically here, first impressions, they often work, but that is not the case here. I would say it starts mostly fine, but then the issues start to appear around hour 4 or 5. So first off, interacting with a customer, any sort of destruction, anything you need to fix, you need to be positioned perfectly for that icon to highlight, whether it's cleaning up the cat's bathroom breaks or serving that food. I was constantly getting frustrated and trying to make these, like micro adjustments just to be in the right spots. When you level up cats and staff as well, they will have a selection of information below their name. Same thing for the class types. This description doesn't scroll though, and the text eventually just kind of disappears. That's really important because it tells you the currency type they use, for example. You'll also unlock them buffers for each character with levels. The problem, you level so high, you get so many of these buffers, they actually don't stay in the box, and now I can't see which area of my character I'm leveling up because my view is obscured. Let's go one better. I hit level of 43. I could level everyone else up on my staff, but if I tried to level myself, the game actually hard crashed. I must have tried this about 20 times. I even started a new a new fresh day and the same issue. Fortunately, the game saves daily, so I was able to push through the game without leveling up again. It will slow you down though, because customers are getting more demanding, which makes processing these prompts slower and slower, so the intended gameplay is to level up, except I can't because the game will crash on me. When you do have a crash then, or just quit, the game has a relatively long load screen, though that is the only one you will see in game. But my favourite thing, nothing actually happens the day you load in. There's normally one customer that comes in and that is it. Now normally your cafe is a constant flow of customers. In this scenario, that one shows up, then you just kind of have to stand around like an idiot waiting for the day to be over. When the day ends then, there's nothing to do, you can't interact with anyone or see anyone, which made it even more strange, but the clock just keeps on going through the night non-stop. The day number doesn't even change, but eventually at 8 AM it actually kicks you to the next day. There's no home location, no stamina, so again you're just going to kind of be standing around if you do want to check it out. Fortunately, you can press X to jump to the next day, but I don't know why it just didn't force the next day on you at like, 10 PM like most of the games in the genre. Another frustration for me, you'll be buying a huge amount of recipes and ingredients at the market, but you won't know when you're about to run out because there's no option to see your inventory outside of the store purchase page, weirdly. Quick access really would have been nice in this instance. At the store as well, here's another unique issue. You buy items in bulk of 10 and you can buy multiple, however only one at a time. Now again, you might be thinking, smack that buy button multiple times, job done, and that would absolutely make sense, but in the case of Cat Cafe, that does not work, because if you click buy, it actually jumps like 10 items down with bread, milk it was jumping 4 up, chocolate was jumping 2 down. It's just crazy stuff, honestly, and seriously messed up. I made so many mistake purchases because of this, and it was just so annoying. The menus overall for this game, it's a big issue, when you max out cats and stuff even, you can't even scroll to see them all. I couldn't even level up my final employee because I couldn't scroll down to reach them. You also have then what's called the inspect screen. It's the right trigger, this one, and basically it tells you your customer and cat's needs by zooming in on them. Now on the PC it pops up and there seems to be a cursor that lets you select one by one. Here the game just guesses which customer you want and you can't move it at all. We're still going as well, but nearly there. There's no reason for cats though. By the end game I was annoyed, so I wanted to see what happens, how much do they need me, and basically they definitely don't. The last hour and a half of my experience here, I stood by that phone box, repeatedly phoned a friend to get them to the required level of unlocking the final shrine element. That's going to be 2 characters at level 5 and 2 at level 4. My staff were handling customers, my cats said they were hungry or wanted a stroke, and the only punishment I got, a huge amount of icons on screen ready for my single button input. They don't leave, they don't do anything else, they don't seem to really care, they don't act in any way at all really. It's worth knowing as well here, the character meter showing you their relationship status when you do phone them, that's broken too. By the end game, they were all empty, but when they would talk, you would see they were partially or nearly full. Then the end game, the good old end game, you get a cutscene, it caps off the story, it does its job honestly, and then it presents you with just a continue with your day or start the game again, and yes, no thank you for that one. But yeah, I continued through though, the loop naturally unchanged, but here's where it gets really unique. The shrine was complete, yet the select your shrine option remained on screen on the left hand side. You can see it there, select your shrine. Wasn't surprised at this point that a menu was behaving incorrectly in the game, but this is where it gets interesting. Every time the day ends, the game doesn't recognize you beat the story already, so it plays the final cutscene again and again and then asks you if you want to continue. Tried it 5 times in a row, and every single time it made me suffer through the cutscene again. Also then on that note, even if it didn't do that, honestly, look, the amount of furniture and design in here, I honestly don't think it will keep you busy for long, and that's actually because of the fast pace. You basically want all of your tables and chairs as close as possible to the kitchen equipment, defeating your ability to go wild somewhat with that creativity. You can also only have 16 seats, so there's not a huge amount of space to work with. The end game though basically thinks you're replaying that same outro again and again, and it is such a strange thing. Our final issue, initially you will feel the frame rate is wobbling, but you can make it work, but the more customers that appear, the worse it naturally gets. Also, I think the game is suffering from some sort of memory leak because it starts to stutter, full on freezes, and that happens in the music and audio as well, which is unusual, so it suggests to me we have a bigger issue here than simply a frame rate. Audio and graphics then, this has gone long enough already, this video. The music is essentially a couple of tracks on loop, it's harmless enough. And then the sound effects, they are annoying as hell. Each class seems to have one line from one voice actor and they say it on repeat. I ended up muting the game, playing my own music. The graphics are fine too, it looks a bit cheap in parts and character models are all the same outside of hair colour, but it definitely does its job. I quite like the cooking animation with a frying pan though. I did think it was a little bit weird as I made a cup of tea or a milkshake and this animation was playing. So the final verdict, and I won't say it's broken, but it feels like it's got 1,000 bandages holding it together currently. It's absolutely in no state that it should have been released on the console yet, and it's just in so many areas. You've seen that list I just ran through. The fact that you get to the end game then and it just plays the outro cutscene again and again, it's just kind of salt in the wounds. You know, leave me alone, let me do my own thing. That's kind of what every gamer expects going into this one. Also, why are the cats pointless? There's absolutely zero motivation here for me to look after them. Supposedly the ambience impacts the customer experience and blah blah blah, but that seemed to play no impact on the affection I was getting from the customer base, and that was all I needed to progress. And when I say I didn't do anything with them at the end game, just no in-game, I left them for what was 2 weeks out of, I think it was 119 days of gameplay. For 6 cats as well, one thing I haven't really said, they don't have much personality going on. They get toys and all different kind of objects, but they never play or interact. The only animations they seem to have is pee on the floor, sit on a customer's lap, and occasionally walk around. So again, like I had some fun in the early game, I managed to get to the end, which is perhaps the nicest thing I can say about the experience, but yeah, look, today it's an awful 2 out of 10 from me. Yes, I saw the end game, but there's no question, in its current state, it is absolutely broken. If they can at least fix the crashes, I'd probably give it a boost, honestly, but if they go and fix everything up, which I don't imagine is going to happen, honestly, even then I'd be hard pushed to go above an average 5 out of 10 here, unless you've played every other single chill game in existence. It's dull, it lacks any sort of spirit, and there's just too many good options, especially on the Nintendo Switch. Will you be adding this one to the library then, or holding onto that cash? No doubt this video is going to upset some, I get it, the idea I really like, but the execution, it's far behind where it needs to be, and it's going to take some sizable patches to get this up to any sort of kind of working state. Yes, I got to the end game, but still a lot of the functionality I couldn't even use, a lot of the menus I couldn't see, a lot of them don't even work. That is not the state a game should be hitting the console in. With that, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch, as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.